Welcome to Wrestling with Heart, a podcast looking at pro wrestlers giving back to their community. Join me, Stanley Carr, as I interview wrestling's hottest names who use their platforms as entertainers to raise awareness and do community service. Hello and welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Heart. This is the show where we talk with professional wrestlers and professional wrestling personalities about their lives in and outside of the ring, as well as doing acts of charity work, community service, volunteering, and spreading positivity. We're always about the positive vibes here on the show. And with me right now, I've got a very special guest. She is a dancer, model, and former WCW Nitro Girl. I am pleased to welcome Chiquita Anderson. Welcome, Chiquita, to Wrestling with Heart.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy we connected.
Yes, my pleasure. So tell me about your childhood. Where did you grow up?
I am originally from Chicago, Illinois, and from Oak Park, Illinois. So I grew up on the west side of Chicago. Then I moved to the suburbs of Oak Park, Illinois, where Betty Wright's from and Frank Lloyd Wright. And from there, college brought me to Philadelphia. And then marriage took me over the bridge. And that's where I grew up.
Chicago's such an incredible city. I love going there every time I get a chance to. Beautiful architecture, just gorgeous.
Oh, hands down. What time of the year do you go?
Uh, I've been in the winter, sometimes in the spring. I was just there in the spring this year for a conference, so getting the chance to take in all that beautiful air and walking around the city, it's
Yes,
just peaceful.
yes, it is. And good food. Good
Yeah,
food.
can't go wrong with the food either.
Nah,
All right.
nah.
Were you always into entertainment? Did you know from a young age this is what you wanted to do?
Okay, so when I was younger, when I was born, my dad, he used to hold me up and he used to say, "That's my star. That's my daddy's little star." And then I started dancing because my mother named me Chiquita after the dancing banana. So there was this little banana that used to come across the TV screen and saying, "I'm the Chiquita banana and I'm here to stay." So fast forward this prophetic word that my mom had, and I became this dancer. And I just always knew that I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to perform. It wasn't until I was 8 years old and my mom, she asked me, she said, "What could you do for free and not get paid for?" And I said, "Dance," like instantaneously. I said, "Dance." She said, "Okay, well, that's what we're going to do." And then that is when she started procuring the way for me to have a successful career in dance. And she caught a lot of flack for it because, you really didn't make a living, a lucrative living being a dancer. But, by the grace of God, I pushed out six figures being a professional dancer, a real dancer, people. I wasn't swinging in the poles. Now, not that anything's wrong with that, because I think that is so skillful. But yeah, and I just danced and I received a partial scholarship to the University of the Arts in Philadelphia. Came to Philadelphia, was dancing, and then I was out at a club. I was at a club where I wasn't supposed to be. It was called the Nile. And it was like a ball weekend. And I was dancing my butt off. And this choreographer named Sino, he saw me and he said, "I'm auditioning for some artists with record labels. Would you like to come and audition?" I was like, "Yeah." I auditioned, I got in, boom. That's when I got discovered. Toured the world, danced for Missy Elliott, Michael Jackson, not a tour, but the Michael Jackson Jam video, Mariah Carey, Eve, uh, dancer for the Philadelphia 76ers and assistant choreographer for two, uh, WCW Nitro Girls, Will Smith, She Loves Special Sauce, um, and I'm missing some people. I know I am, but there you have it.
Yeah,
Crystal Williams.
you got to bump into so many different people and network with so many contacts. I mean, it's fun when you're able to get out there, perform, uh, entertain the crowd. I am sure that experience helped you later on when you did get that call to audition for the Nitro Girls.
Absolutely, I did. And you let me know when you want to hear that story because guess what, Sir Stanley? You're the first person that's gonna get the real deal story, the
Okay.
exclusive as to how I became a Nitro Girl.
All right.
You
All right.
ready for it now?
Well, before we get into that, I want to ask because I've always asked people on the show if they were wrestling fans, did they grow up watching or were they familiar with it? Tell me your story. Was wrestling something you had watched as a kid or knew
Oh,
about?
yeah, Saturday morning wrestling on NBC in Chicago. NBC is channel 5, right?
Hmm.
So Saturday morning, it went like this. Get up, watch the snorkels, snorkel along, watch the Smurfs. And then either I had dance on a Saturday, or if I did not, then come noontime, I mean, I'm watching wrestling, and I am watching Andre the Giant, of course, God rest his soul, Hulk Hogan, and I am just watching. I'm just enjoying wrestling, but those two were my favorite. But I'm just watching the interaction. I'm watching the sportsmanship of it all, the craft of it, the bodies hitting the mat, and it's just the recovery. So I have been a wrestling fan in that capacity of just mere watching since I was about 9.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so you're a diehard fan. You're into it.
Listen, when I first met God rest my soul, when I was God rest his soul, when I got off the plane and Hulk Hogan came back to WCW for a little while, I was there and I realized that he was on the same flight with me. It took everything I had not to jump on his back and be like, you don't understand. But when they look at you in your face and they say, "Hey, darling," you're like, "Ugh," But that was so jaw dropping and just awe struck when I actually got a chance to work with my childhood heroes, my childhood just, visual champions. That and they weren't as mean. So that helped too.
Yeah, I mean, when you're working with guys like Hulk Hogan, I mean, you got to be starstruck because this is a guy you grew up watching,
Yeah.
big, you know, 300-pound muscled up guy, uh, and you're like 5 feet in front of him, and it's like, wow, I have
Yeah.
made it here.
Yeah.
Um,
Him and Mr. T.
mm-hmm.
Him and Mr. T. Like I'm
Yes,
like, it doesn't get any better than this. So I thought.
it doesn't. I mean,
Mhm.
now talk to me about when you started went for the audition for WCW to become a Nitro Girl because this was right around the time of the Monday Night Wars. You had WCW, you had WCW, you had WWE going head to head for ratings and brand supremacy. Um, the Attitude Era was in full swing, but Nitro was doing really, really well on the Turner networks. Talk to me about the process and first impressions of the company.
Huh. Okay, so I'm gonna try and say this. The Nitro Girls were doing a Nitro Girl search. They were contacting all of the NBA teams in different cities. They happened to contact the 76ers. I was at the time a 76er dancer. So um, Kim Page and Alto Gary, they contacted the Sixers. The Sixers then contacted my one of my best friends, Renee. She then hosted the whole entire Nitro Girl audition. And then she was like, "Listen, Chiquita, if I get one more girl, I get a bonus for how many people signed up." I was like, "Girl, I can't do that. I'm on tour, Missy." She was like, "No, just do it. Just hook a girl up." I go there, I do the audition. The competitor in me was like, I can't not get it now. So I go and I audition. There was like tons of girls there, and I see this one tall girl, and she is like staying in the front, and she is in awe of Kimberly Page. She is like, just starstruck. And I was like, "Who is that?" Turned out to be Stacy Keebler. And she and I were auditioning, and she was, the only talent in the room that could that could kind of hold, be in my circumference. So I said, "All right, I'm gonna just, do this." And then that night we had to go to the club, audition in front of everybody. Everyone had to vote. We were supposed to come back in like they asked us to wear really nice dresses. So I was like, okay. I was gonna wear like this 2-piece situation. So then Stacy comes in, she got two-piece leather outfit on, a cowboy hat. I was like, this chick. And they told us instantaneously that when you go out there, you're going to get a response. And I tell you, when we went out there, I remember Buff Bagwell, he was just very kind, and it was an immediate response. And then from there, I didn't get chosen that evening. And because the fans, they went crazy over Stacey. She's like, she's just different. And but then Alto Gary called me later on to take Storm's Paisley Charmel to take her spot, and there you have it.
Yeah, I mean, you go through the competition. I am sure they put you through the ringer with all these different drills. Any memories of the training process and any words of advice you got from your trainers when starting out with the Nitro Girls?
Well, we had to learn how to maneuver in the ring. You have to learn how to walk in the ring. And I never thought about that. I'm just thinking that it's just normal to walk on this type of platform. But when you are in heels and your shorts are this big and you have to kick your leg up this high and there's fans that are screaming and you have to remember this, you have to face hard camera, all of these things come into play. And that's what you have to become trained on. So every Sunday, we would have a massive rehearsal, the Nitro Girls, in the ring, learning how to get in there with the ropes. Let me tell you, I have a whole nother respect. I have a whole nother respect for just female wrestlers in general, because the ropes, the turnstile, the buckles, they hurt. And you want to learn different tricks. I had learned a couple of tricks or what have you, but just learning how to level yourself and then do those jumps while you're dancing and land on your feet, that was every week training. You never get used to that type of balance. And that taught me how to keep my core, keep my balance, look at the fans, know the rhythm of the song, engage with fans, um, and not fall. Shoot, you fall on any type of wrestling platform, they're gonna get you.
Yeah, it hurts. It really does. You have to be prepared for anything and everything.
Yeah.
Did you have like a favorite routine or any favorite moments that you got to do on television with the other girls?
Ooh, okay. So my favorite piece was when Kid played the opening. We would come out and then they would play our music and we would, the DJ Rand would have the music playing. Love the opening. I absolutely loved because we had these chaps that we would rip off. And I loved um, the cages. Like I love being in the cages sometimes. That was really cool. And girls, 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 obviously. But one of the best moments I had was when I was about to go on stage, the Nitro Girls. Um, Goldberg was standing behind me, and I was like, "Stay with it, Chiquita. Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with." It. And then he comes into my ear and he says, "You see that camera?" I said, "Yes." He said, "They always had that camera right up your butt." He said, "It's a nice butt, but they always got the camera right up there in your butt. Tell them to put it on your face. Your face is pretty. You don't have to have the camera." And I was like, "Okay." And then he just, goes back and he just steps back. And I was like, how am I supposed to like really capture the audience after that? But it was just the way that he approached me. It was really cool. It was on some, we worked together and I respect women. I respect your craft. But you're also, pretty, and let's let's get the face in there more so than the butt, because I was known for this like really intense booty shake. So they would always, get me on that. And that was just awesome. And I'm like, Bill Goldberg said that I was dope and that I was pretty and that you couldn't tell me nothing. Still to
It
this day, you can't.
it
Him
made
and
your
Kevin
day.
Nash. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was a period of time when wrestling was everywhere. It
Yes.
was mainstream, and everywhere you went, you saw WWE, WCW, and got to work with so many people during your time there, getting to work with some of the women.
Hmm.
Who are some of the some of your favorite people that you got to work with in the segments?
Uh, and see that you don't have enough time. I really love God, God rest his soul. I really love Chuck. Not Chuck, but I love the I'm drawing a blank on his name because I could see his face. And he was partnered up with Chuck and he passed away not too about
Sean
4 or 5.
O'Hare.
Sean O'Hare, yes. Yes. I mean, he just a gentle giant and so nice. And they did an editorial and where he and I actually are in the shoot together. Just that I don't know why I've drawn a blank on his name because that was just I didn't that was horrible. And I got it, and I really loved working when I got a chance to meet Midnight. I got a chance to meet with Medusa. She was hilariously funny. I liked working with her. I even really loved working with Daphne, God rest her soul. Daphne was great, and she was just gentle, and she was just, I came in there as a newbie, and when you come in as a newbie, you're expecting people not to help you out with costumes, not to help you out with anything. No, Tori to this day is my girl. And, Tori would say, here's an outfit and or I have something extra or you look good or I mean, all of them were super dope. And Kevin Nash, I call him K Boogie, mad cool, Booker T, Steven, I mean, the cat and I would cuss out each other every single week. I mean, really, really cuss each other out in a loving way. Um, and Ric Flair, I can't tell you how many kisses I got from that man. You know, how you doing, darling? But I mean, they were just cool. And Rey Mysterio and Conan, we had some road shows, some stuff, house shows to do. And my husband was like, oh man, y'all gotta look out for my wife. And they were like, yo, we gotta, you know how they yo, we gotta. And Conan was like, yo, we all good, who we all them. So we did the house shows together, along with Vampiro. And they just had my back. I didn't have to drive. I didn't have to, they just were like brothers. And to understand wrestling from just sitting in the back and listening to them and them understanding and respecting and loving their craft, I got a chance to really learn.
Yeah,
So
I mean, the cool thing about the wrestling business is that there's this camaraderie. You're around these people 300 days a year. You're traveling with them. You're in the hotels and eating together at restaurants, and so you're with these people for a long period of time. So it's fun to look back and have these memories. You still remember to this day. Did you ever think about transitioning from being a dancer to a wrestler? Was that something you thought about doing?
I did when the day that Sean McMahon came to Panama and he was like, everybody's gonna
Okay.
get a fair chance. And I had rollers in my hair and everything. I was like, what is he talking about? I said, you know what? Maybe, maybe, but I just, I, I just, I spent so many years training as a dancer and molding my body into a specific type of, ingenuity and fluidity and, making it sensual. I didn't want to lose that. And I didn't want to break anything. I didn't want to break, pop, rip, tear. That is why I hold women wrestlers. I mean, listen, I bow down to them because they are doing it just to get into the ring, just to pull those rings and get in. It's like, whew, you need a class for that. So respect these female wrestlers out here, black, white, Asian. You respect them.
Do you keep up at all with the current product or see some of the current wrestlers today?
I do. I am on my way to see Miss Jones, Carmel. I'll see her tomorrow because I'm still performing. I'll see her tomorrow. I still talk to my girl Tori. Um, who else? I still talk to all my Nitro Girls. All my Nitro Girls. Uh, and who else? Sometimes I'll hit up um, I'll make comments on Chris on K Boogie. I call him K Boogie, but K Nash's site, you know, and Charmel, obviously, she's Nitro Girl. And my son is really invested, and he just, I have my Nitro Girl posters up here and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
And he's just like, he doesn't get it. It hasn't clicked yet.
It will.
Like
It
when I do
will.
the autograph signings, he's like, "What are you doing?" So,
What I think is so cool is that women's wrestling has definitely evolved, and I think it's changed the game because there's so many great athletes now out there right now. I mean, Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair's daughter, yeah, she
hmm
is amazing when you
yeah.
watch her perform. Becky Lynch obviously is another
Oh
one.
yeah, Becky. I listen. I like me a Becky Lynch. I hope I don't ever catch her in the airport because I'm just gonna have to pull her ear and say, "Mother, you are doing it." I was on the same flight with Bianca Belair,
Hmm.
and my son. I thought he was gonna pass all the way out. He ran from her because he was so excited, But just he's like so built and so beautiful, you know. Very nice, very approachable. So yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
They're doing extremely well. But I think it's so cool how you were part of that kind of era where you helped kind of pave the way for what we see today. And so it really is amazing to see how, you got your son invested and you're kind of, doing the signings and everything, kind of introducing, new generations of fans to your work. So how does that feel, being able to uh, go to these signings and see the fans and get some new ones out of it as well?
You know what? I don't really get too many signings, but when I do, I take them very seriously because I know that my resume is insanely impressive. And I know that I am, I'm in these streets. I'm on the stage. I'm still working. And I just graduated from college, with a dance degree.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Um,
Welcome.
uh, so I so I am really appreciative. Like I may get a handful of fan mail or emails a year, and that's okay because I, you, in a room full of 50 people, how many people can raise their hand and say they have fans? I'm that one, and I don't take that lightly. And wrestling fans are loyal, and they are true to it. My nephew Eric has been to every you name it, he's been there. And it's cool to call my girls up that are still wrestling or call, I still talk to Alan Funk, Kiwi and Kat. And I'll say, like, my nephew's down there, can you show him a little love? And they will show him love. And to me, that speaks volumes. I mean, and also, even in wrestling, you experience some of the racism. And that I have an ex I personally have an experience. I did experience it, in United States one huge time, but mostly out of the country, uh, in Trinidad. But that's when you just say, you know what? It's about the sport. You have to take that, learn from it, and everybody's not good. Everybody's not gonna like you. Everybody's not gonna respond to you, and that's okay. You know what I mean? That's all right. So,
Outside of dance, do you have anything like your go-tos for like, you know, when you're like in a down period or you're upset or you're sad, things like you're trying to overcome, you
uh,
know,
I'm a very spiritual person, and I don't like to, and because I'm learning now, Stanley, how much of an impact I have had, and will continue to have on today's youth as far as being performers. It never dawned on me until recently that that is the purpose. That this is just the platform, the dancing, the performing, the management company, the inventor, all of that, the student, that is just the platform. That is what is given to me. Those are things that I'm great at to really fulfill my purpose. And that is just to pull out the greatness in everyone, that light in everyone. And I really, really enjoy sitting back now and reading some of my letters from my students from over the years. Uh, I enjoy just being still. Like I have been moving, just moving, for like so long. And just being still. I'm learning how to do that, because I just lost my father. Um,
So sorry.
oh, thank you.
You're
And I was his
welcome.
only child, and that interaction, that last interaction was so beautiful. And I realized, wait a minute, that's what this thing called life is about. It's about leaving here, peaceful and nothing unsaid and just no tears and no pain, no fear. And I got the chance to experience that. And I was like, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. So when I'm downtrodden or, feeling some type of way, I just say la. I just sit down. I just be still.
I'm sure your father would be very proud of the work that you've done because you've been doing so much. And I wanted to touch on the dance studio. You ran a studio for many years. Talk to me about what made you decide to open up your own school.
So I opened the dance school with my best friend, um, Camilla, and we were on the Sixers together. And it never was my dream to have my own studio. It just wasn't. But at the time, I was leaving one studio, and she approached me with this idea, and I said, you know what, let's go for it. I had a daughter, at the time, and I was like, maybe she might want to dance. Turns out she does dance, and she's damn good. And that's how I started. We started Monarch, $50 and a dream, and to just put all of our faith in what we knew, what we know. And that was extremely hard. Like that, owning a studio is difficult, but it's rewarding. And I just pour into the kids. You pour into the kids. If that is what you love doing, they will feel it, they will know it. And for those 14 years of doing the Nutcracker recitals, outside performances, all of that, I got to learn other elements of the studio. I got to learn how to work the digital board, work the lighting, but mostly the kids and the parents and what the parents say to you, um, after you have pulled out this phenomenal routine from a kid. Um, but the studio, having that for the last 10 years, it had come to a healthy close. Um, I have no regrets, and I, I I thank God that I did it.
And I'm sure you had a lot of favorite parts, as you mentioned. You get to see things from a whole nother perspective as well by
Mhm.
doing stuff out off stage as well. But did you have like something what was like your favorite part about running the studio?
My favorite part was when we would be outsourced to do um, different workshops in different communities. Different schools that weren't as elaborate, and having to go into these places where you're teaching teens and they don't even want to, half of them don't even want to be in school, but I have to find a way to teach them a routine in 16 hours when you break it down, and entrance exit clothing. We have to figure this out. We have to get the arts inside of them, or if it's inside, pull it out. And once you do that and accomplish that, the outsourcing from the studio and working in these vastly different communities and schools, that was the most rewarding to this day. And the notes that you receive, from these kids, like these kids in the middle of learning, kickball step, they're, throwing up gang signs, and they're about to, go at it. But not to be funny, but it was literally like beat it, like get in between
Mhm.
them and like, let's dance, let's dance it out. Seriously, because when they go home, we don't know what they have to do, but they know when they come see, Miss Chiquita and Miss Camilla, they know that for an hour they're just gonna lose it and they're just gonna have fun. They're gonna give me everything they have, and when that happens, oh my God. it's like, yes, yes.
It, and it's great exercise too. It's
Woo.
movement, so you're able
Oh,
to you get a workout in from it.
oh, yeah, you better. You better. I mean, listen, I'm gonna say this, and I said what I said. You gotta look like what you do. You can't be, you gotta look like what you do. That's all I'm saying.
Now, outside of your time in the wrestling industry and in the dance industry, I know you've been involved with a lot of charity organizations, have partnered up with various groups. What kinds of things have you done outside of the business to help out in your community?
Ooh, hosting hosting free workshops for um, mothers and children. Hosting free dance lessons, visiting different schools just to see their routines and give them constructive criticism. Because when you do what I do, you have a rate. This is your job. And just to put that on hold to say, let me go see what they're doing. Let me go check them out. Let me go instill some of my knowledge, with the kids and have Q&As. Also, with the charities, with the different schools, as far as the high schools are concerned, that was really big. Instilling the dance uh, with those communities. In addition to not just one specific charity, but my own personal um, philanthropic work. My own personal things that I give that I don't necessarily have to discuss with anyone because it's just what I have to give. And I feel like I never knew how do you give back with dance? So how do you do that? You give your time, you give your constructive criticism, you give your veridical feedback, you give your presence, and that is the best way I know how. Like, thus far, I'm gonna start working at the church and on Rittenhouse Square with the homeless. I'm always finding somebody homeless and giving them something and finding out their name. I don't know.
Well, that's good that you're able to, that you're doing that because people of all, backgrounds deserve to have the same, you know,
Yeah, they deserve
lifestyle
to eat.
and yeah,
They deserve to eat.
people deserve to eat, people
They
deserve to
des-
have a home,
yes,
they deserve to, you know, have things in their life.
yes, yes. And if you have it, if you have 2 bottles of water and you see somebody, just give it. If you have $2, you only need one, just give it. And that's what I choose to do in my own capacity.
And I bet, when you get these students that come to your schools, I am sure they come up to you and they're like, you've made such a difference. Thank you so much for what you do because you are providing them that service. Being able to teach them and being able to work with them and create an environment that is inspiring.
Yeah, thank you. That is the most rewarding. I was in Costco right before our meeting, and a student, well, she wasn't a student, she was on the dance team with my daughter. And she said, Miss Chiquita, I said, oh my gosh, hi, Sarah. And she said, she didn't return to the dance team because she said that she had to, do some self-evaluating. And last year she had some struggles. So when they hired me to come in there, I really gravitated towards her, and I just knew that she had more to give. Long story short, she told me that I still left this lasting impression on her. And she sat down and she thought about what she wanted to do, and she did not return to the team. However, she is now taking classes and she's teaching. And I said, well, that's just beautiful. And then when I had my screening, one of my students told me, this is the tearjerker. One of my students told me something that I always told them, keep your feet planted, Miss Chiquita. I was like, what? That, Stanley, like, it just doesn't get any better than that, you know? So you're right. When my students come back and they write me these letters, I was about to quit, but I was gonna give up, but I was not gonna, I was gonna just cuss her out, but I was gonna not dance anymore, hang up my shoes, but, and after that, but your name happens, I don't take that lightly. And it's rewarding.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to, if you really want to make it in anything that you do, you got to put in the work. And
Yeah,
so you're instilling that in them, and they're going after their dreams, and they're trying to find their way, and you get so many results out of it, seeing the students really get to move up and work with a variety of different people. So I'd imagine that gives you the most joy.
you're right. You said it best. I'm not even going to elaborate on that. You said it right. It gives me the most joy.
Yeah.
Um, and receiving a proclamation from, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, for winning nationals with that team. To this day, I still keep in contact with that team, and they are working, owning their own companies that are thriving, and moms and dancers, and that, I mean, that you just can't, can't buy that. And that makes my heart feel good. And that's what makes me keep dancing. Because I tell people, you dance until you can't dance anymore. It doesn't matter how old you are. Can you still do the steps? I still perform well.
Do you
So,
have any dream performances? Any people you wish to back up or be on stage with?
um, just Janet. I wrote my goal list out when I was 16, and I obtained all of those goals. It was Michael Jackson. It was Janet. It was naming lights. It was sign my autograph. I used to practice my autograph since I was 8. Um, so everything, travel the world. So I did all of that by the grace of God. But just let me be on the stage with Janet, just for like 2 songs, and then I would love to do one more set with Missy. I would love to do one more set with Missy Elliott. And I just went to the Chris Brown concert. I just want to go to another concert. I don't necessarily want to dance, but yeah. So Janet and Missy.
All right. Let's see if hopefully that'll happen.
Oh, yeah. Listen, if I put it out there, it will.
Yeah, yeah.
It definitely will.
It'll one way or another.
That's right. And when it does, I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah, and we'll do another interview, part
No,
two.
better. No, you come to the concert.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be there for
Yeah.
sure. You heard it here. Well, Chiquita, this is wonderful getting the chance to speak with you. I want to say thank you for coming on to Wrestling with Heart. It means a lot to me and to my listeners and viewers that are watching this on YouTube. Where can people find out more about you and all the cool things you're doing?
Oh, wonderful. My Instagram, Chiquita underscore still moves, and my Facebook page, Chiquita Anderson. I'm revamping my website so that you can see where I'm going to be. Right now I'm creative director for recording artist Christopher Williams. So if you see his name, chances are you will see me perform and see my work. Uh, yeah, and that's enough, right?
Yeah, yeah. People get to see your really an amazing resume of all the people you've worked with and will continue to work with. So check it out. This is so awesome. Chiquita, thanks again, and you're more than welcome to come back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me again. I'm so happy the universe got us together.
Absolutely. All right, take
Uh,
care.
Take care.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
This is Wrestling with Heart. I hope you found this podcast to be informative and entertaining. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and look out for the next edition.